Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 38th Emerging Growth Conference. I'm Anna Berry, and I'll be your host today. As always, we have an exciting list of companies in a wide range of growth sectors presenting to you today. So just a few notes. All of our conferences, they're uploaded to the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel, so please subscribe there, youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. So today we're running until about 2 p.m. Eastern time. So when we switch to the next company, you're going to see a black screen for a moment, but don't go anywhere. That's just us moving over. But if you do experience downtime, just refresh your browser. Everything usually works after you do that. Our platform does work best on Google Chrome. So if you're watching from an Apple device, you have to hit the play button to start the session. During each company's presentation, you can submit questions through our webcast module, and we'll attempt to address as many of these as possible at the end of the presentation. And one last note, after today's event, you'll be redirected to the registration page for the next conference. So stay on or come back to reserve your spot early. Today, we have 6 companies presenting. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Please welcome Jupiter Wellness. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol JUPW and supports health and wellness through the research and development of over-the-counter products and intellectual property, including a product pipeline addressing a range of conditions, including hair loss, eczema, burns, and sexual wellness. Please welcome its CEO, Brian John. Welcome, Brian. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. We look forward to hearing the presentation. Take it away.
Okay. So this is Jupiter Wellness. I hope everyone can see the first slide here. This is your standard disclaimer. So this is Jupiter Wellness. We have been public since November 1st, 2020. So this November 1st will be 2 years. We'll be a public traded company on the NASDAQ. Very short period of time. I think we've accomplished a great deal of things that I'm going to walk you through here, and happy to answer questions at the end. So Jupiter Wellness started as a CBD company, exploring the use of different strains of CBD in the endocannabinoid system and mostly skin indications. We do have a small CBD consumer products division that we still do have, but our focus and our launch of Jupiter 2.0 is what I'm going to show you right now, as we've developed over the past year and a half 6 proprietary brands and products that we've developed that are protected by IP by us, and that we're now launching and selling both as OTC products and some going through the FDA in a parallel path as well. But we'll walk through that all today. So Jupiter Wellness conducts research, licenses IP, and develops OTC products focused on hair, skin, and sexual health. That's what we do. This next slide shows a breakdown of kind of a roadmap of our products that we have. The minoxidil booster is a fantastic product. 40% of people that use Rogaine, it does not work properly on, that have a certain genetic makeup. This was developed by Dr. Andy Gorin, who's a world-renowned dermatologist that runs Applied Biology, which is the CRO that we purchased a few months back. We've done clinical trials with him since day one. He's done all our clinical trials to date. He's affiliated with about 9 huge dermatological hospitals around the world. So he's got great access to patients. And that's one of the reasons we've been successful getting a lot of these clinical trials done quickly. But the minoxidil booster now we licensed to 31 countries. We just recently announced we licensed to Tasha, which is basically the Johnson & Johnson, and the largest importer of Rogaine into Japan and India and a bunch of other countries. So that's going very well. We're looking forward to launching the minoxidil booster here in the United States sometime in the beginning of 2023. Photosil is another one of our products. It's basically phototherapy in a tube. We'll get into more of that as it goes along. We currently license that everywhere outside the United States. It does about $5 billion outside in Europe, and we get paid a royalty on that as well. JW100 is our treatment for eczema. That's our biggest indication. JW300 is for first-degree burns. Those things is our patent-pending jellyfish sting preventive sun care lotion. And RJ101 is my favorite. That's kind of we'll get into more, but it's kind of a treatment for women who had breast cancer, but it looks like it's going to be more of a women's sexual health product as well. So let's start with JW100, which is our eczema. So we have a pending patent on what we call our CBD aspartame combo. We call it aspartame, but it's actually a specific mentholate dipeptide is the active that's found in it. We call it aspartame because everybody knows what aspartame is, but it's that combo that are both work as COX-2 inhibitors that works very well. We've done one clinical study on it so far. It's peer-reviewed and published. that if you look at, there's some more slides a little further on, we'll go through comparisons of industry people out there, but we were able to show basically in this study that we can clear up eczema with very little to no side effects 50% of the time in just 2 weeks, which is better results than most of the drugs out there today. So here's the slide I was just talking about. If you look at some of these treatments here, Dupixent is a Sanofi drug. It's a shot. Costs between $600 and $800. You take it once a month for 6 months. And in their own commercials, it says that you got a 36% chance of it clearing up your eczema in that period of time, which is not a very good number. And there's a ton of terrible side effects, everything from malignancies to deep vein thrombosis to a lot of bad things on the Dupixent side, dizziness, rash, pain at the injection site, very expensive as well. It's Eucrisia, we're going to get a little further down the road. Eucrisia is Pfizer's drug for eczema. That is a topical just like ours. We are currently in the middle of what we call a phase 3 trial. It's considered a phase 3 trial because we're going head to head against an FDA-approved drug, and we're trying to show superiority to Eucrisia. And we think we can do that. Those results are due out towards the end of this year. We're very much looking forward to those. Better results than a drug that does $350 million in revenues is a pretty good place to be. They're expected to be a $2 billion sale company at their peak. So we love the eczema market. It's a huge market, over $10 billion. 86% of the people with eczema are unhappy with their current treatment. So we think on our initial results here, we're in a great position. We've already done a pre-IND meeting with the FDA on our JW100. So we plan on doing a parallel route here with this drug where we'll sell it OTC to drugstores and pharmacies around the country, as well as online, but also do the FDA route and get the prescription strength eventually down the road. Next is one of my favorites. This is RJ100. So I'm going to back up to a little bit to Pfizer's treatment. So Pfizer was doing a blood pressure treatment study, and they found one of the side effects. All the men in the study were getting erections, and they said, hey, we're onto something here. And it was switched around, and that's how Viagra was born. Viagra is now a multi-billion-dollar drug. There's spin-offs of it, a bunch of different other ones, Cialis, Levitra, all billion-dollar drugs. But our drug, Dr. Andy Gorin was doing a study on women that had breast cancer and had surgery or radiation and lost sensitivity in their nipples. And that's kind of how this drug was created. During the trial, the women were reporting, higher sexual stimulation, better orgasm levels, a bunch of different things. So we've got some good results in an initial small study. There's a study going on right now in Spain that's supposed to be done in the next 45 days that's measuring orgasm levels and other things. But we're very excited about this product. There's 2 patents granted on it already. We think not only can this be sold as a prescription product, just like our eczema drug, but also as an OTC product for women's sexual health. We think that this is a huge market. There's not a lot of good products out there. Men have a lot of different things for sexual health. Women don't really have any. But we're currently investigating. We believe that on the breast cancer side and a certain demographics and with radiation and surgery, certain things, we may be able to get orphan drug status for this drug and then file for acceleration. And we can get this thing FDA approved probably in the next, 12 to 18 months. So very exciting product for us. And the same token, we're going to sell this as an OTC product where it'll come in a little handy wipe, just like when you eat ribs, open it up, there'll be a little wipe in there, you apply it, throw it in the garbage. So we think that has the ability to get real viral. And because the space is so wide open, I think we could do tremendous sales. If you look at companies like Hims and Hers, they do, $100 million in revenues a quarter, and they don't own anything. They just basically provide you with a doctor prescription to go get Cialis, Viagra, or somebody else's product. So very excited about this product. We think this is the future of Jupiter Wellness, one of the products with eczema that'll be very, very large. So minoxidil booster, this was developed by Dr. Andy Gorin, who's applied biology. That's the CRO we bought. This is a fantastic product. Like I said, it works. It makes Rogaine, minoxidil, work 7 times better than it does normally. So we're currently licensing this all over around the world. It hasn't been launched in the U.S. We hope to launch it at the beginning of 2022 here in the U.S. It's licensed currently to like 31 countries, including Tashio, who's the largest pharmaceutical company in Japan, as I mentioned earlier. And we get paid royalties on this all over the United States. Different ones are outlined in the screen. So Photosil, we spoke about it earlier. It's basically phototherapy in a tube. This is licensed all over Europe. It does about $5 million in revenues. We get paid a royalty on, but we're going to launch this in the US. This is our next closest product that's going to be here. It's supposed to be here in our offices next week. So this will be on channels where Those Things is, Amazon, Walmart.com, all those kind of e-commerce portals that we currently use. Does not contain CBD, so it's very easy to put up products that don't have CBD in them and promote them on Amazon and places like that, e-commerce wise. So we're excited to launch this one. We think it'll give us a nice bump in revenues as well. So JW300 is our burn cream. So we did a clinical style. We were able to show that we can clear up a mild burn or a sunburn, 50% better than not using the cream. This will be launched in 2 different avenues. We currently have a line of sun care called Canason that we do sell. It's endorsed by Hall of Fame golfer Ernie Els, who's standing behind me in the picture, taking part of my presentation. But this will be sold as a treatment for sunburn, obviously, along with the Canason line. But it'll also be sold as a treatment for mild burns in pharmacies, drugstores, places like that around the country, as well as online as well. This product is, I'm going to say, it'll be first part of 2023, a little further. Photosil's next, and this will be after that. So Those Things I Love. This is a fantastic product. This product was actually created in the Florida Keys for the Florida Keys. It was made by a guy named Dr. Pat Rice. He's the head of marine sciences down at the college in Key West. This product is a sun care line that prevents jellyfish and sea lice stings. There's 4 pending patents on it. It works. I've done it. I've used it. It's fantastic. There's a big jellyfish problem from, Key West all the way up to Maine this time of year. Around here, you can't even go in the water now in Peanut Island. I was at Hilton Head recently. You couldn't go in the water in Hilton Head because the beaches are so loaded with jellyfish this time of year. We've only had this product for about 45 days in our offices. It comes in lotions and sprays and different SPFs. It's doing fantastic. We're actually presenting this product at Surf Expo, which is one of the largest surf and outdoor shows in the Orange County Convention Center, September 7th to the 10th. So we're very excited about that. This product is fantastic. We have videos of, people sticking their arms in tanks full of jellyfish and not getting stung. It's a fantastic product. There's nothing like it on the market. We expect big things for this. It's currently being sold on Amazon, Walmart.com, but sun care is not something that people typically buy online. It's usually picked up at a gas station or at a beach when you stop to buy your beer and ice and things of that nature. Say, oh, I forgot my sun care, or in drugstores, pharmacies, places like that. So those are the areas that we're targeting for Those Things. And it's an incredible product. It's reef-friendly, animal-friendly, ocean-friendly. It's a sustainably bottled. We use a big portion of recycled ocean plastics in our bottling for it. So it's a great product. There's nothing like it around. So we expect big things out of it. But that's the type of things that we create. We like to create products that don't have competition or a lot of competition. We don't want to sell the same products everybody else in the world is selling. So you have to have huge budgets to compete with big cosmetic companies or big pharma companies that have, huge budgets. So we're really focused on creating in the first year and a half of our life these 6 proprietary, unique products that are our property and protected by, patents and trademarks and so on and so forth. So JW400 is our treatment for herpes cold sores, just like Abrivia. This trial is going to start shortly. This is the last on the list of the 6. We haven't started yet. This will be a treatment very similar to Abrivia. Abrivia was a huge trial. There was over 2,000 people. It keep having to add people to it because they couldn't get enough positive results to make claims. What the background is that beeswax, which most lip balms are bases of, including ours that we sell, were more active than what they were trying to use when they created Abrivia. They didn't really have a good antiviral until they found one, and then they got FDA approval, but it turned into a huge trial. We have very good antiviral properties in our CBD aspartame combo, which will go in with the beeswax and our lip balm for this trial. In fact, we have a pending patent for the treatment of respiratory viruses in the lungs, including influenza, with our CBD aspartame combo. So we did file a patent on that combo as well. That's currently pending, but very exciting trial here. We're about to start. This is an easy product to commercialize once we get our results and put on shelves as an OTC product. So this is just our 6 products: hair loss, psoriasis, vitiligo, female libido loss, eczema, cold sore, and burns. Those are our 6 kind of indications with our 6 core products that we developed. These are the It goes over the competitors to them, from Rogaine to Humira to Abrivia to Silverdyne for burns. It's been around for about 30 years. There's been no good advances in burn creases, but this tells you about some of the harmful effects. And so far, none of our products have any kind of side effects. The only one we got was, a little redness on the application site with some things, but nothing major at all. So we also do, like I said, contract research. We've made 3 acquisitions since Jupiter Wellness has been alive. That's kind of my background, doing M&A. We've done 3. We're obviously looking at more on an everyday basis, but we've closed 3. Our applied biology assets is one of them. It's a CRO. It did $8 million in revenues and $4 million in EBITDA in 2021. So great numbers, nice and profitable. We've used this guy for our clinical trials to date. The real value in this is actually the patent and the IPs and a lot of the products that we just went over. 3 of them came from applied biology. 3 of them came from Jupiter Wellness. We now own them all. But it's Dr. Andy Gorin. He's a world-renowned dermatologist. This guy's everywhere. He's lives in Prague. He's Czech by nature, but he never has his feet on the ground in the same country. He's, everywhere all the time. He's the one who's responsible for licensing all these products around the world to big pharmaceutical companies. We have a huge meeting in India coming up next week, actually. Dr. Gorin's going out to meet with the major companies and hopefully get some more licensing agreements with some of our other products and brands that we're coming out with. But it's really him and his access to patients and his access to these 8 dermatological hospitals around the world that gives us great exposure and access and makes our clinical trials quicker and easy to do. So we're very grateful to have him. So licensing, we just spoke about. We've done a couple licenses already. We got some upfront payments from Tashio, Cosmofix, San Pellegrino in India to license the minoxidil booster, Photosil, and some other products. We'll continue that. Like I said, Dr. Gorin handles that, and we're going to focus on launching and selling these products in the United States, and he's going to handle licensing it internationally. So we do have a consumer products division. I mentioned earlier, it's cbdcaring.com is our CBD consumer products website. It sells your typical CBD products that are out there. We keep it because it does do business and helps cover the overhead in this place. When we started the company, we didn't want to be a pharmaceutical company or a company that just burns money and does clinical trials forever. So you could see a lot of our products we're able to launch OTC, while 2 of them will do that same parallel FDA track with them. We think, once things get FDA approval and need a doctor's prescription, they're going to be much more valuable than OTC, but we can still sell them OTC and be able to, cover our research. That's really what we try and do here at Jupiter Wellness. So our consumer products division is part of that. Our go-to-market plan, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is basic stuff, MMR, wholesale, e-commerce, strategic IP. We'll continue to develop products and brands with Dr. Gorin, our applied biology asset, our CRO. As we move along, with the same token, we're launching a lot of these products and brands OTC. We just put out our last quarter. We did over $3 million in revenues. That was our best quarter so far. We're having great growth in certain divisions. We expect that to continue as we launch more of these products and brands. So we're more of a pharmaceutical company. Sales is kind of new to us, to be honest, everybody, but we brought in some e-commerce people and some new employees who are doing a pretty good job getting them on Walmart.com and Amazon and places like that. And our sales are going up steadily. So we're very excited. I think that going into 2023, we could be a profitable company. So we're about to, we call it the launch of Jupiter 2.0. We're about to turn the corner from just be a research company to a research company with a great line of OTC products and a great pipeline of FDA products as well. So this just goes over our plan for new products and how we want to expand B2B, B2C, optimize our EBITDA structures. We like to sell stuff e-commerce. There's not a lot of expense involved with that. There's never middlemen where you go through distributors and brokers and people like that. They all like to take a cut. We do both, but we prefer the e-commerce route. It's higher margins in there. And like I said, our goal is to become profitable and cash flow positive, going into 2023 this year. So we're very close. We call it the launch of Jupiter 2.0, like I said. So it's an exciting time for us and for the company. This is the management team, Dr. Glenn Wilson. People may have heard of him. He was the ex-CEO of Tapamune. That's how I met him. Tapamune was a mess. It was 28 cents with 77 million registered warrants. We had to clean all that up. We got him eventually listed up to the NASDAQ, and then he did an $800 million merger with Marker Pharmaceuticals, which is a CAR T company that trades on the NASDAQ still today. And he's most known, he was the head of new drug development for SmithKline. Myself, my background's M&A and kind of a global investor for a long time. And Doug McKinnon's our CFO. He's fantastic. Doug's an ex-Price Waterhouse guy forever. He's one of the best CFOs ever been around. This gives capital structure. We just did a big share buyback. We have very little shares, 21 million shares outstanding. Just goes over our capital structure. We think it's tight and right. We just did a buyback and bought back about 10% of our outstanding shares. So we like to keep a tight capital structure. Our stock has been getting leaned on quite a bit since we did our last round. We did a round at 279 with a 279 warrant. We haven't sold shares below that level, and I have no idea where it is. Well, I have an idea, but we're working on cleaning up those warrants. We believe that our stock is getting, shorted against those warrants. It makes it an easy arbitrage for funds and institutions to short the stock. So we're putting a plan together. We've hired some kind of forensic naked shorting people to go through our DTCs and NOBOs and kind of figure out what's going on for us. So put a plan together to get rid of those warrants so that our stock can react properly. We have a small, $14 million market cap on a company that I think one of the drugs we have is probably worth $100 million in the near future. So like I said, exciting time for us. I think everything's positioned right. I think it's got a very low market cap. I think it's a good level of entry for people. So that's why we're getting out and starting to tell our story here as we launch Jupiter 2.0 and let people know what we've been up to over the past year and a half. So these are transactions that we've done with some of the capital we took in that $30 million secondary round that we did. We purchased SRM Entertainment. SRM Entertainment, we're going to spin off as a dividend to our shareholders. It's been announced in a queue already. It's public information that we're going to do that sometime in the near future. We hope to have it filed, the registration statement, so forth, by September 15th. SRM, we bought from another public company. We bought it because it has a special license to be able to sell to all the Disney parks, all the Universal Studios worldwide, SeaWorld, Great Wolf Lodges. We have that license, and I'm told that license would take you $5 million in 5 years if you could get it. These guys have had that license for over 20 years. That's why we bought it, for the distribution of our products, specifically our sun care, our nose things like that, to the Disney cruise lines, the Disney parks. So we're in the process of trying to do that. But in the meantime, we took something that was basically shut down from another public company last year. It did very well. This year, it's profitable. They'll do, I think it's done about $800,000 in net profit to date. So far, it'll probably finish the year somewhere around $8 million in revenues. So we took it from nothing to doing very significantly. Next Frontier Pharmaceuticals is now Benuvia Holdings. That's an investment we made. We were aspiring to merge with a company that has a huge DEA Schedule 3 through 5 facility, FDA-approved facility in Round Rock, Texas. They have the rights to make synthetic psychedelics as well as synthetic cannabinoids in there. They also have one of 4 FDA-approved cannabis drugs in the world called Syndros, and a bunch of other master drug files on things. They actually do a lot of contract manufacturing for companies. Radius is one of their biggest customers. They'll do $11 million with Radius this year. So we made an investment in them. We were supposed to merge with them, but the merger fell apart. They still carry our notes. So we own part of that company now, and we're trying to figure out kind of if we want the company, we don't want the company. We just want to be paid back, but we're rolling through that at this point in time. Ascent and Applied Biology, we covered already. The JW share repurchase, we bought back, about 10% of our float, about 2.8 million shares so far to date. That is still kind of sitting out there. We've put a stall on it because our stock's starting to trade a little better here. So we don't want to be involved in buying when that stuff's going on. The other thing we did is we co-sponsored a SPAC called Jupiter Wellness Acquisition Corp. So we own a large portion of that SPAC. And we think that when it gets de-SPAC, which I think will happen, sometime in this month of September, there'll be hopefully a BCA released, and that de-SPAC process will happen. Jupiter Wellness, we left a lot of shares of SRM Entertainment, a lot of shares of Jupiter Wellness Acquisition Corp, a lot of shares of Next Frontier Pharmaceuticals that we can slowly during 2023 just sell. And a lot of these investment dollars were written off by our auditors for whatever reasons when we did them. So it looks like we spent a lot of the money, but it's actually invested in all these things you look at on this screen. And we think in 2023, these investments will be worth north of $50 million to Jupiter Wellness for sure, of non-dilutive financing. So it's very exciting for us. And this is just our IP portfolio. It talks about the patents we have issued, the patents we acquired, licensed, and the ones we have outstanding. We have a quite robust IP portfolio. We purely intend to grow this. Obviously, this is the backbone of what we do here. Creating unique products and brands and protecting them by IP so we don't have competition. That's really where we want to be. And that is it, JUPITERWellness.com. We just launched our new Jupiter Wellness corporate website yesterday, actually. So I encourage everybody, if they want updates on Jupiter Wellness, they can go on to our website and sign up for updates, so on and so forth. But that concludes my part of the presentation. So I'll be happy to, take any questions at this point.
Great job, Brian. Awesome products you have there. Let's jump into our questions. First of all, how is Jupiter Wellness different from the myriad of other CBD companies out there?
Yeah, that's so I started the company with Dr. Glenn Wilson, who's our chief scientific officer and our chairman of our board that I spoke about earlier. And he's the one who really looked at the CBD space. And we actually went to a bunch of CBD shows, and you could literally go to a show and see 60 companies selling the same 60 products, making the same claims. And not one of them's ever done a clinical trial. Not one of them actually knows what the products do. And I think if you look at all the major CBD companies these days, from CBDMD to CB Sciences to Just Brands, you look at them, there's been a real consolidation in the CBD space. Some of those companies used to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars that are worth, $5-6 million now in their market caps because of that consolidation. I think a lot of people got sold a bag of goods by people jumping in the CBD space, and they took products thinking it was going to help them for this indication or that indication without any science done, and they thought it didn't work. So now people, have a vision that CBD is just a scam. It doesn't work. And I think that's what caused this big consolidation that's happening. So our real difference is everything we do, we back by science. That's really the backbone of what we do. We're more of a pharmaceutical company than we are anything else. And we like to develop products backed by science, clinically proven, that we can then, put on market, sell, and protect with IP.
Thank you for that. So you recently acquired Applied Biology. How's that integration going?
Applied Biology is fantastic. We've worked with Dr. Gorin since we started the company. He's done our early eczema trials, all our other clinical trials. Like I said, he's affiliated with 8 or 9 huge dermatological hospitals around the world in Spain, Croatia, China, Hong Kong, Brown University here in the States. They have offices in Newport Beach, California, was where their lab is. They did like $8 million last year, $4 million in EBITDA. So we're very excited not only to have that, those revenues to join our company, but we think we could greatly expand on the CRO business, as well as keep producing our own kind of unique products and our unique IP. But Dr. Gorin's a rock star. He's unbelievable. He one of the things that he's known for, he invented a COVID drug with the Brazilian government. It was a protease inhibitor that kept the COVID from binding to your lungs, and they got great results where they could clear it up over 80% of the time. And he actually sold that drug to Kintor Pharmaceuticals that trades on the Hong Kong. And when he sold it to them, their stock went from $8 to like $60 or $70 or something ridiculous. So he does groundbreaking stuff. He's really a rock star. I know people hear that all the time, but this guy, I don't even know where he is half the time. I know he's on his way to India now. He's Czech. He lives in Prague, but he's all over the place. So we're happy to have him.
Sounds like it. You talked about this earlier, the jellyfish problems up and down the East Coast. I'm a little bit more afraid of jellyfish than I am sharks. So talk about this product that you have. Hash that out for me a little bit.
I am. So it's a fantastic product. I encourage everybody. We have some videos up there of me actually with Dr. Rice. I put my arm in a tank full of jellyfish, and he talks about the jellyfish and how they sting you and all this other stuff. And I didn't get stung, which was great. But it's much like a clownfish could go in a sea anemone and not get stung because he's got special proteins and things like that in his skin that keeps him from getting stung. Same concept here. We took our base Canasun lotion, added similar, anti-jellyfish additives to it, and that's how it was born. So we've done one clinical study already that covers, sea nettles, jellyfish, sea lice, things of that nature. And we're about to start a second trial with Dr. Rice that's actually going to do Portuguese man-o'-wars. They're a little bit different because they're those big balloon-looking jellyfish with the big purple tentacles. They blow up on the beaches here in Florida in the summer, in the wintertime mostly. They look like balloons laying all over the beach. But their stingers are like little pins. They're much larger than a normal jellyfish. So we're going to see if we can prevent stings from them as well. And that would be fantastic for the product. But yeah, this is a great product. It's been out for 45 days and we've blown through a lot of it already. We have a second order placed already for it. It's made in Daytona Beach, Florida, at our same folks, Dermacare, that makes our sun care. They're all ex-Hawaiian Tropic people, have been in sun care forever, but nothing like it. I think it's a fantastic product. And it's our big launch at Surf Expo, the 7th to the 10th of September, which is coming up right around the corner. It's really a big resort surfing and beach show from all over the country, and it's at Orange County Convention Center. So that'll be our first kind of launch out into the public with the products, and we expect big things from this show.
Does that product hurt the jellyfish or the ecosystem of the ocean?
Does not hurt the jellyfish at all. It's animal friendly, reef friendly. It uses some parts of recycled ocean plastics in our bottling. So like I said, it's made for the keys, in the keys, and the keys are very sensitive to that type of stuff. You can't even sell sun care on the keys anymore unless it's reef friendly, ocean friendly, animal friendly, things of that nature. So.
Good to know. Good to know. We have a question from Anthony Fitzgerald. He wants to know who handles fulfillment and shipping for your e-commerce.
So all the e-commerce that we do now is handled from our offices here in Jupiter, Florida. Any of the larger distributors that we send stuff to usually get shipped from our manufacturer in Daytona Beach if it's pallets. So we handle the individual orders here. Any larger pallet orders go from Daytona Beach.
And Frank Garcia wants to know what percentage is licensing versus selling under your own brand?
Which brand? There's a lot of different brands. I will tell you that most of the revenues that we just did in the $3 million in the quarter, a big chunk of those come from SRM Entertainment. That division's been doing really well and growing really fast. That's one of those, cash flow businesses. All the orders you get are guaranteed. Disney, Universal, they're 100%. No one's ever defaulted on a payment ever in the history. So it's like guaranteed money, but it is cash intensive. It takes a while to turn the money. So the more money you can put into a system like that, the more revenues that you'll do. That's why we're looking to spin it off, because we'll do a small round for it and it'll have a good influx of, $7 or $8 million that it can then ramp up its business even more. And the Jupiter Wellness shareholders will obviously benefit from that, being the largest shareholders in the company.
Great. Now, Pete Harper wants to know, what is your marketing like? How are you growing sales? And when do you expect to get profitable?
Yeah, we're hoping, in the first or second quarter of 2023 to cross that bridge. We're getting close now in our normal expenses. It's really the professional expenses, lawyers, accountants, things like that are keeping us from being profitable. We just hired an e-commerce team about 6 months ago who's been doing great. They've gotten those things on Amazon and Walmart.com and a host of other places. We actually, on our consumer product side, sell a line of CBD-infused lubes, believe it or not. And there was a gentleman who did a little TikTok out in California. He brought the product and used it. And he did a 2-second TikTok that said, "Oh my God, I need to find out who makes this product." And he dropped the bottle and walked away. And we got like 100 orders for the lube overnight, and, just from one influencer. So we're really targeting those micro influencers on individual products, if that makes sense. We're following that roadmap. We found out that one little snip from an influencer in California who bought our product from a sex shop in California somewhere. He did it on his own, had nothing to do with us, but we got tremendous orders from it. So now we're going to take that model along with the e-commerce model, doing the normal SEO, but we're going to take that model of using micro influencers, not huge influencers. Micro influencers have better traction with their followers than a big influencer. Most big influencers don't even know who their followers are, where micro influencers don't. So we're really using that model that just worked for the lubes to spread that to all our different products and brands now.
Candy Barton says, biotechs are trading at an all-time low, and there are many trading at less than cash value. So because of this, we're starting to see takeovers of companies in this space. Which is your key product that could lead to attention from an acquisition-minded major?
I think that's two. That's our eczema product. I think our results on our eczema product that were peer-reviewed in public, although it's just one study, were fantastic. We showed that we could clear up eczema 50% of the time in just 2 weeks with no side effects. And that's better than any product on the market today. It's also very inexpensive. So we think that's a fantastic product. It's a huge market, over $10 billion, and 86% of the people with eczema are unhappy with the current treatments. And those current treatments do billions of dollars of revenue. So that's definitely a space we want to be. We think we have a fantastic product in that space. And that's why we're doing the parallel route. FDA, we've already done a pre-IND meeting with them and then launching it, as an OTC product as well. The other one is the RJ100. We think that product for both the treatment of women that had breast cancer surgery and radiation, we think we're investigating now, maybe getting orphan drug status on that. As you know, that speeds up the timeline very quickly. And then filing acceleration, we get that. Dr. Wilson is very confident in, a year to 18 months, we can have an FDA approved drug there for the treatment of women who had breast cancer surgery and radiation. But the bigger market, I think, for that product is a women's sexual health product. If you look at that market, there is nothing out there in women's sexual health, nothing that works. Men have Viagra, Cialis, Levitia, all those great products, and women have nothing. When you talk to big retailers and buyers for big retailers, they're starving for a product in that space. So I think that's the real value of the product eventually. But those two products, I would imagine that would be very valuable to somebody.
Thank you for that. Scott Sanchez with Sycamore Capital asks, what's the best use for the cash on the company's balance sheet?
Look, I have an M&A background. Acquiring Applied Biology was huge for us. Those revenues will start to, kick in and hit our balance sheet going into 2023. They did $4 million in EBIT almost last year. So those numbers help us become profitable, obviously. So our goal is to be a pharmaceutical company. Somebody else asked a very good question. There's a lot of pharmaceutical companies out there. I know a bunch of them that just burn capital constantly. I know companies that are 10 years old that burn, $5 million a quarter and haven't done a penny of revenues in 10 years that just raised money, raised over $500 million. And we don't want to be that company that just burns money. Hence why we're doing this and launching stuff OTC. Hence why we have a consumer products division. We want to be more like I hate to use Johnson & Johnson, but maybe a PG&E, a smaller version that has a great line of pharmaceutical grade products, but also has a consumer products division that people trust because they know the name. They know that they do good products. They know that it's all clinically backed and things of that nature. So that's really our model.
Well, great presentation, great products. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us today. Do you have any closing remarks for our viewers?
That's it. We said we're pretty well funded. We're very good at that. We've raised over $45 million at the JUPW Wellness to date. We've not even been public. It'll be 2 years this November. So I think with our current market cap, it's a good time for investors to take a look at the stock. And that's why we're kind of launching Jupiter 2.0 now. And we didn't do it a year ago. I think we're ready to become go to the next level, we'll call it.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, and come back in the future with some updates, please.
Would love to. Thank you.
All right, everyone, stay with us. We're going to transition to the next presenter. We'll be back in just a few moments.